At the end of this video, we'll take a look at Mad Ramp's innovative pivoting ramp system, the safer, easier way to transport your ATVs and snowmobiles. Stick around. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The Bridge Street Garage Racing Team, the house racing team of the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. Now I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight. We're going to be looking at a few videos, items 1 through 4. Then we've got some announcements. After that, we're going to have a follow-up on last week's trivia question. We're going to reveal the answers as well as the winners, and then we're going to have a new question for you. Then, of course, item number 6, around 9:30, 9:35 Eastern Time, we're going to pardon me, we're going to open things up for open line show and tell, where you can join us with your cell phone for some live vintage snowmobile show and tell. Now, the guidelines for that are as follows: for you to come on here with your cell phone and show us your vintage snowmobiles or memorabilia, whatever you have there. Let's look at the guidelines real quick. Number 1, you must have something vintage related for show and tell. We'd like you to hold your camera horizontal for a wide shot. Keep it clean, no nudity, profanity, etc. It's okay if you have something for sale, but it must be vintage related. And last but not least, of course, keep it positive, no bashing of people, businesses, etc. So about the bottom of the hour, I'm going to post that link in the comments, and you can click on there and join us through your cell phone and do some show and tell with us. But before we get into all of this, I want to get into the comments to make sure that everything is working properly. If you can see my face and hear my voice, I'm going to ask you to make a comment. Please let me know where you're viewing this from and whether or not you are a first-time viewer or a regular viewer. As always, to our first-time viewers, thank you so much for joining us tonight, for checking us out. I hope that you enjoy this, and I hope that you decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. We simulcast to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this, I hope you'll join us here next week at the same time for another episode of the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast. And of course, for our regular viewers that are here each and every week, time after time after time, you guys are the ones that make this possible. I cannot thank you enough for making this possible. I really, really appreciate it. Let's look at some comments. Let's see here. Cliff Anderson says, good evening. Good evening back, Cliff. And he's from Afton, Minnesota. We've got Alden Banks saying good evening. And Alden is one of the winners of the trivia contest last week. And we're going to have an update. We've got Rob waiting in the background. He's going to be coming on here at about the bottom of the hour. And we're going to be doing another trivia question. He'll reveal the answers to last week's trivia question, as well as the winners, and then he's going to have a new question for us, and we'll be doing that at about 9:25, 9:30, thereabout. Also, our good friend Armin Buto says hello from Pittsburgh, New Hampshire. How you doing, Armin? Good to see you here. He's a regular viewer. He's here each and every week, and we very much appreciate that, as is Nick Kafez, who says we're loud and clear from snowy Shelby Township, Michigan. And our good friend Jim Layton from Northern Maine is here tonight. And let's see, Alden Banks says, good evening from Bristol. Pardon me, I've got a tickle in my throat tonight. I'm going to work through it. The dry air just catches in my throat. But the show must go on, as they say. Also, Stacy and Art Fosler are here from Plattekill, New York, regular viewers. We very much appreciate it. One more comment, and then we're going to get right into the program. We've got Brent Corbin here from Mid-Michigan, and he says, go Ski-Doo. Absolutely. Good deal. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get to the first item on our lineup of entertainment tonight. I've got a video that I took about a month ago at the Washington, Vermont Vintage Snowmobile Rally. I met Greg Tilton. He has a 1968 Evinrude Skeeter. Let's take a look at the interview that I did with him. Let's have a look right now.
My name is Greg Tilton. This is my 68 Evinrude. It was my great-grandfather's. He bought it new in 68. And my grandfather restored it 20 years ago to this. And he never really got past, getting it back going after he got it painted up and everything. And a couple of years ago, I wanted to get it going again, so I convinced him to let me take it. So I brought it home. We got the track back in it, and got it running nice and good again. And 55.5. Now it's here in the show, and we even got a spare parts sled down there that was just supposed to be parts, and that runs pretty good too. That they had gotten going 20 years ago, and so now that's down here too with this one.
Nice.
Pretty nice deal.
Good deal. And where are you guys based out of?
We're at a Topsom.
Yeah.
Just a little bit over the hill, and it's nice to get this thing going again because it's 4 generations in the family.
4 generations. That's amazing.
The seat's all messed up, but this seat is original to the sled, so it's 50 years old.
Wow. Considering that, it's in pretty good shape.
Yeah. 50-year-old vinyl doesn't really do too well.
No.
It did have electric start, but the motor had seen better days. So it's a bit seized up now, but
yeah.
Other than that, it runs pretty strong. Reverse works great in it.
Nice.
I'd be happy to have you take,
Yeah, that's cool.
That went under.
Plenty of storage, keep all your spare stuff you want to bring with you.
Nice.
I used to rebuild those.
Nice fisherman's dream right there.
Yeah.
Some of them you could rebuild.
Great use of space too. You got all that extra space.
I've had them running.
Good deal. Well, cool. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was really nice meeting Greg. And I think I think it must have been his father last spring at the Island Pond Vintage Snowmobile Show, Island Pond, Vermont. And he had a, it was a Canadian-made sled. The name escapes me. But it was great to meet his father at that show and then to meet him and his father at this show. That's the really nice thing about these shows is we have multiple generations many times of people attending these shows, which is really, really cool. And also I see Rob Hilditch is in the waiting area. He's got some AMSOIL stickers, and I think he's going to be talking about those when he comes on as well. So we are looking very much forward to that. Now, the next item on the agenda here is we've got some footage sent to us from our friend Michael Karvala. Now, Michael is a regular viewer, and he's come on here live for some show and tell. And over the last couple of weeks, he was out doing some riding, some vintage riding with his friends in Ishpeming, Michigan. Let's take a look at the footage he sent me. Yeah, some good times on the snow right there. You got to love it. So I'm going to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to bring Rob on. He's going to give us some trivia questions at the bottom of the hour. But since he's here in the waiting area, let's bring him on as almost kind of a co-host, and he can react to some of the videos we're doing. How you doing tonight, Rob?
I'm doing good. And yourself? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, perfectly. Yeah, I really appreciate your coming on.
Good, good.
I know
we had a good response to the questions last week, and it was kind of like a trick question because there was both Villeneuves were in the race that won. Two Versailles brothers won, but there was also two Wall people that won, but one was an uncle, so it wasn't two brothers. That was a trick part of the question last week.
Yeah, for sure. And we're going to wait and get into that at the bottom of the hour, but I'm going to have you co-host with me and react to some of these videos we're looking at. Let's see, the next video we've got is from Team Vincent Motorsports. In fact, that's one of the reasons I brought you on. You were the one who introduced me to these nice folks, and they've got some footage from one of their recent vintage show and swap events. So let me pull that up, and we'll take a look at it, and then afterward we'll react to it together. Let's take a look.
Hi everyone, welcome to Phil's Fun Fact Friday from Team Vincent Motorsports in Ayr, Ontario. Today I'm in Listowel, Ontario for an outdoor show, a swap meet, a show, all things vintage. The best part of going to a sled show and swap meet is the surprise element. You're never sure what you're going to see until you'll get there. You'll see rare race sleds fully restored, you'll see complete sleds, you'll also see restoration products and parts. All the parts that you'll ever need to restore your classic sled are there. And then there's also the memorabilia. When it comes to exceptional show sleds, check out this Motoski collection. Have you ever seen a better selection of Motoski race sleds? From leaf springs to IFS, liquid cooleds and free airs, this is an incredible display. And if you're into sleds of the green factor, check out this collection. 440 and 650s, twin pluggers, free airs. This is an incredible collection for those who like the green sleds. Along with the rare race sleds, there's always the cool sleds, the ones you don't see very often. Check this out, a Northway Interceptor. That's right, a 440 Interceptor, made by Northway. That is one cool looking sled. Also in the rare and cool factor, check out this Dolphin, fully restored with matching helmet. You don't see that color every day, you don't see that sled every day. That is a cool find when you're walking through a swap meet and show. Also on the cool factor, check this out, a Viking Vigilante 340. Again, look at that cool color and look at the cool matching helmet. That's not something you see every day in your neighbor's garage. And sometimes when you're walking down a row of Motoskis and Scorpions, you'll see something truly unique. Yes, the Cyclone 340 is a rare sled, and look at the other ones around it, also really cool, but look in the background. Look at the Massey Fergusons, there's something special there too. Massey Ferguson had a thrill team, like so many manufacturers. Theirs was known as the Ski Whiz Red Knights. Every manufacturer in the early 70s wanted to put on a show, whether it was grass drags or snow racing or a thrill team. Everybody had to put on a big show, and Massey Ferguson did it with the Red Knights. Interesting watching people walk through a show and what they spot. For instance, look at this Arctic Cat, Notice those pipes? They're often referred to as Montana pipes. They're very rare because they stuck out the front and they would get easily dented. A set of pipes like that, not only impressive, but they're also impressive to find in that condition. For people wanting to start on a restoration, here's a great find, a Citation with a 104-inch track. $200, you can't go wrong. A solid sled chassis, put a motor in it, a new seat, and you've got yourself your first build of a sled. One of the things I like to find at a show is not just great sleds, but great helmets to go along with it. Check out this Blizzard helmet that goes along with the Blizzards of the late 70s. That is a cool find and a cool accessory. And speaking of helmets, what about the clothing? It's amazing how people will come up with clothing that's in pristine condition. And hey, for 30 or 40 or 50 bucks, that is a great find, especially if it matches a sled that you've got in your collection. Patches were a big part of the sport in the late 60s through the 70s. Everybody had their favorite brand patch, also their club patches on their suits as well. Every suit had to have a patch of some sort on it, and sometimes you'll find the coolest patches at these shows. When it comes to parts, people need everything, and you can also find everything at a show. Tracks, cleated, non-cleated, ones with studs, well, they're there too. Suspensions, skis, engines, one-of-a-kind gauges, carburetors, rotary valve parts. Everything can be found at a show. Not everything appears on the internet anymore. You go to a show or a swap meet, and there's your starting point to get your restoration underway. And of course, a big part of any sled, show, or swap meet is the people. Oftentimes I'll go to these shows and I've known these people for over 30 years. Every time we go to a show, it's how you doing? What are you working on? What did you sell? What did you buy? How is such and such doing? Where's their sleds? It's always a great social event. It's not just about the nuts and bolts when you go to a vintage show. It's also about the people you've known over the years. At outdoor shows like this, you can find everything from complete sleds to the parts you need, like bogies and engines. So whatever you want to restore, check out your local swap meet, outdoor show and shine. You'll find what you're looking for. You just got to look. Thanks so much for watching our video series here at Team Vintage Motorsports. Remember to like, share, and comment on our entire YouTube video series. Team Vintage Motorsports, Ayr, Ontario.
Yeah, so I'd like to give a quick shout out and a thank you to our new friends over at Team Vincent Motorsports. They've got an excellent YouTube channel. If you like what you saw there, there's a whole lot more on that channel. There's a link in the description. Just give a click. It'll take you right over, and you can look at some of that. And Rob, you introduced me to these nice folks. Were you at that show, or any thoughts on what we were just looking at there?
I'm not sure what show that was he did, but I've been to quite a few of them. But I met him because he used to be on the TV broadcaster. And a friend of mine races snowmobiles, and he was his partner in an endurance race on a vintage. And now he's working the staging at a vintage race I go to all the time. So he's staging everybody before they go out in the line. So that's how I met him. So he's still involved with snowmobiles quite a bit. And just for the fun of it, he does the videos because he enjoys doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And he does an excellent job with those videos as well. And he's given me permission
those
to share some more of them.
I sent you a picture earlier from a race. It's only 10 miles from my house, Newport racetrack from 1969. Me and my father were at that race, and the ski whiz people were there putting on a performance.
Wow, with the stunt show and the jumping and everything?
Yeah, and I got a bunch of black and white pictures I took with my little 110 camera back in those days. Yeah. And to go from stock to mod, you took your seat off and put holes in your pipes.
Nice. Nice. Those were the days, weren't they? Well, cool. So let's take a look at what we have next here on the agenda. We've got another video. This is a video from one of our regular viewers, Dirk Siems. He was at a recent Vintage Snowmobile show in Elk River, Minnesota, and he took quite a bit of footage at that show that he shared with us. We showed a clip from that last week, and let me just pull up the clip here, and we're going to take another look, or take a look at another video he sent us. This is inside at that same show we were at last week. Let's take a look.
Good morning from Elk River, Minnesota. I just got my whole sleds unloaded, and I decided to come in the warmth of one of the buildings here and check out. It's like the last liquefier off the production line. I got some Brian Nelson race sleds here. So the feature sled here at the ride-in is it's a Midwest ride-in, and this used to be in Waconia, Minnesota. 2 years ago, it moved here to Elk River to a beautiful facility here. Anyway, I'm going to see a lot of green, and silver, I guess, is with John Deere being the featured sleds of the event. I'll be taking some more videos, but I just thought this was a good chance when I didn't have a bunch of people early in the morning here, just to kind of give you a shot of some of the indoor facilities here at ERX Motor Speedway here, where this event has, I think, found a permanent home. So we got a Skidoo that leaked in here with all the John Deeres. It looks like a raffle ticket. Text me if you want to buy a raffle ticket. Like some winner's gonna have a beautiful Lowe's Skidoo. Yeah, I got a raffle ticket on a purple kitty cat. And we got some other drawings over here. I guess they're giving all kinds of stuff away. A couple of raffles, a modern Arctic cat, and a cross country LT gray. So, guess you guys got extra money. You guys should be buying raffle tickets this morning. Not many people in here, like I say, it's just getting underway. And of course, I forgot my mittens. Just had my gloves on. My fingers were kind of cold, so I thought I'd check out the indoor activities here. I'll be shooting a few more videos throughout the day, and I'll send them to Mike there at Vintage Snowmobile Lovers, and maybe he can make use of some of this footage. I'll try to keep him under a couple minutes and send him several videos. So long, or good morning. I'll be back, I should say, from Elk River, Minnesota.
Well, cool. Yeah, some nice footage there. Did you see any sleds, Rob, that you liked? Any of those John Deeres jump out at you?
That was quite a collection.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't believe they're giving away prizes like that at an event.
Yeah, winning some sleds like that. Those are nice examples, too.
You buy one raffle ticket, and you get a chance to win either one of those four?
Yeah, I don't know how that worked, but I wish I had been there. I would have thrown some money down to get into that. Yeah, for sure.
That's a good deal. There's quite a nice collection there too.
Yeah, they had some nice racing sleds too. Now, let me ask you this, Rob. On this end, that video seemed like it was choking a little bit. Was it choppy to you at all, or was it playing fine?
No, it looked good.
Oh, good, wonderful.
Yep.
Well, I'm glad it's just me and not all the viewers, for sure. But so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to field a few more comments. Just put them on the screen here. We'll see who's saying hi to us, and then we're going to get into some announcements. And then I know everyone's waiting to hear the results of that trivia question segment that we were doing last week. But we've got Bombard, Floyd, and Lisa said the races were canceled for the New York racing. They're heading to Unity Pond, Maine this weekend, and I wish you guys the best of luck with that. I hope the conditions are better over there. Roger Cormier says, hello, Mike. They're from Manitoba, Canada, now tuning in to his favorite podcast about vintage snowmobiles. Well, I appreciate the compliment, and I'm really glad you're here, Roger. Craig Bradley says, great show. We thank him for that. Mike Karvala says, great show. And that was Mike's footage a few minutes ago that we were looking at with the vintage riding out in that meadow. Jim Gauchione says, loud and clear. Brett Esseltine says, loud and clear. And he's watching this from work on his lunch break. Haven't been in touch with you in quite a while, Brett. We'll have to resume our communications. James Spranger says, loves the show. Regular viewer from Wausau, Wisconsin. Keith Granby says, sounding good here in Motley, Minnesota. John Spranger Jr., regular viewer, says, sounding good. Mark Gasso, first-time viewer from Naples, New York. Great to have you on, Mark. I hope you decide to join us here every week. We do this every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Jared Ellis from Rigby, Idaho says hello. Then we've got someone on Facebook saying hello from Tennessee. Joe Walters, first-time listener from Elk River, Minnesota. Now, Joe, were you at that show by any chance that we were just looking at the footage? Because that footage was from the show at Elk River, Minnesota. I'm wondering if perhaps you had been at that show and can maybe make some comments about the details on that show. Naomi Tilton says, first-time viewer. Thank you so much for coming on. It's nice to meet you, and I hope you'll decide to join us here each and every week, every Thursday night. Mike Michalargi, regular viewer from Caseville, Michigan. And we're just about done with the comments here. I just want to do a few more, and then we'll get into the announcements and then into the trivia questions that everyone's waiting for. Clint Bruderer says, hello, Mike and gang. Rob, you must be gang. Watching from a semi-sleeper cab tonight, Twin Falls, Idaho, at a truck stop. Outstanding. Cool deal. Dave Lowry from Alberta, Canada. Looking forward to a great show, and I hope that we're able to deliver that for you. And yeah, thank you so much for being on. Judy Rinaldi, our good friend and inductee into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame class of 2020, is here saying hello. Nice to see you, Judy. Mike McClargy says hello to Rob. Cool deal. So Rob's getting some love here too. Outstanding. Cool deal. Jim Gauchion says loves the Amsoil Dominator in his race sled. So Jim is a user of the Amsoil product.
Good.
How cool is that?
Good.
Very cool. Well, cool. Now, J.R. Tozier, also an inductee into the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. He says hello from Herman, Maine. Our good friend Brian Robillard from Putnam, Connecticut is on. Brian, by the way, was the first person to come on this podcast live last year. He was a brave soul. And I had a chance to have the privilege and pleasure of meeting him a couple of weeks ago at the Crane Snowmobile Show, which was very, very cool after being friends online like this for over a year. Very cool to meet him in person. Michael Karvala says, thank you for making his video part of the show. You are very welcome. Please keep them coming. We love seeing that. And then last but not least, Stephanie Bennett says, hello. Good deal. All right. So if you don't mind hanging here, Rob, I'm going to do a few announcements, and then we're going to get into the thing that everyone's been waiting for. I'll just go through these announcements real quick. We've got the race schedule here for Central Minnesota Pond Racing. They've still got a couple of events left. They're going to be televising it this weekend on their Facebook page. They've got a video production crew there, so you don't want to miss it. Go to the Central Minnesota Pond Racing Facebook page if you can't make it in person, and check out their broadcast. And then Mike Mahar, the organizer of the event, has given me permission to download that after the fact, and then I'll be playing it here on all of the 8 different places where this podcast simulcast. So we do have that to look forward to. This weekend at the Vermont State Fairgrounds, 3rd annual Vermont Snowmobile Festival, Rutland, Vermont. Be sure and check that out if you possibly can. I was talking to someone who's going there. They're going to try and get some video footage. Hopefully that happens, and we'll try to share that on the podcast here on a future episode. Also, a reminder that the next induction ceremony of the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame is Saturday, September the 10th, 1 p.m. The ceremony starts at 1:30, but be sure and get there at least by 1 p.m. so you can stake out a spot with your lawn chairs. You have to bring your own lawn chairs. Once you've staked out that spot, it gives you time to go into the Crane Snowmobile Museum, view over 100 sleds in there, as well as a corner of the museum that's devoted to the Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Also, if you like these logos from yesteryear, click the link in the description and you can purchase a shirt, a mug, a hoodie, a sticker, a magnet, a phone case with your favorite logos. If you click the link in the description, there are a whole host of logos that you have to choose from. And I wanted to give a huge thank you to the people who've been ordering that. I get a small commission on each order, and that's what helps to make this podcast possible. It offsets all of the expenses associated with the podcast. Likewise, if you enjoyed the first season last year as much as I did, with all of the live people we brought on for interviews, each and every one of those interviews is on this 2 DVD set. And if you order within the next week, I'll include a free bonus DVD as part of that set. There's over 4 hours, not over 4, almost 4 hours of vintage snowmobile entertainment just on the 2 DVDs alone. And the bonus DVD I'm going to share with you, if you order here in the next week, has almost 3 hours. So that's almost 7 hours of vintage snowmobile entertainment for only $24.99. And that goes directly to helping to offset the expenses associated with this podcast. And to all of the people who've been ordering the DVDs, thank you so very, very much. I really appreciate it. Okay, next we've got the Great North Woods Vintage Snowmobile Ride, Pittsburgh, New Hampshire, March 12th. It's coming up here less than a month. That's a great ride. They had a huge turnout last year, and they'll probably have an even larger turnout this year. Very much looking forward to that. And just a couple more here. We've got a vintage snowmobile group that our friend Dwayne Newman is hosting. Now, he's had a Polaris TXL group for some time. It's got over 3,000 fans, but he's having some difficulty with it. So he's created a new one, and he's trying to migrate all of the fans from that group over to this new group. So if you like Polarises, please search for the the smaller of the two groups and join that group, because that's the group that he's active with and posting on. And yeah, if you enjoy Polaris, he does excellent content. And then, of course, if you were here last week, we had our friends from Western Vintage Snowmobile Racing. They have a Facebook group. It's a wonderful group. There's a link in the description. By all means, please go over there and join that group. There's some great entertainment there. So, if you're still with us, Rob, this is the moment everyone's been waiting for. We're going to have the update on last week's trivia question, and then we're going to do a new trivia question. But before we do, I'm going to give you a shameless plug, Rob. Rob is your guy if you need AMSOIL products. He's an authorized AMSOIL dealer. His phone number and email are on the screen, and there's a link in the description to his website. So if you're in need of AMSOIL products, he is the guy to patronize, because he has gone through a lot of effort to be on this podcast. He's sharing prizes with us and trivia questions, and please reciprocate his efforts by patronizing his AMSOIL business. So without further ado, this is the question that we had last week. If you want to read that off, Rob.
What two pairs of brothers have won the Eagle River Derby? And we should have said in the pro class.
Yes, it's true. I lack that detail for sure. But we got plenty of answers. And these are the official answers.
Both Villeneuve brothers won it, and both Viseras brothers won it. But the trick question everybody was thinking was the Walls. But Terry Wall and Dave Wall are uncles. They're uncles and cousins. They're not brothers. So that was the trick part of that question.
For sure. Sure. And then the winners, here we are announcing the winners. The winners of last week's are Jim Gauchione and Alden Banks. And let's change screens here and tell them what they're winning, if you could.
We're sending them both hats from AMSOIL. Nice. Not this hat, but the new racing hat that they just came out with.
Perfect.
And anybody who wants to send me an email, we will send them free AMSOIL decals.
Yeah, let me put you full screen on that. There we go.
Yeah, so if you send me your address, I'll send you off some free decals, put on your sleds.
Wonderful. Yeah, I so much appreciate your offering that, Rob. That is really cool. It's an excellent product, and I'm sure you'll be getting some response on that. The link is in the description. To do that, that'll take you to his website where you can do the request. Plus, his email address is right here on the screen, robtheoilguy@gmail.com. So let's do the question for this week.
Okay. The question for this week, I almost messed up. We were going to put who won the Derby, who's also racing in the NASCAR race tonight. But I was wrong. The person we were thinking about was Villeneuve. But really, it's Jill Villeneuve's son who's racing in the Daytona this weekend, and he's in the 125 race tonight. So we couldn't use that because I don't know if he ever raced a snowmobile like his father did.
Sure.
So the question we're going to use is which one of the top 4 automotive manufacturers was involved in snowmobiling?
Nice. So if you know the answer to that, please post it in the comment section.
Yeah.
And we'll keep an eye on that.
We should say make snowmobiles. And they made 26,000 of them, because I know Ford came out with a snowmobile truck for Bombardier.
Yes.
Yeah, you can buy a Bombardier edition of an F-150. So we should make sure we say what one of the top 4 automotive manufacturers manufactured snowmobiles. And they manufactured 26,000 of them.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this F-150, was that a Canada only edition, or was that US too?
Yep.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. They also done a Harley one too. And
I've seen that. Yeah. So very similar to the Harley, but with a Bombardier theme.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah. But they do a limited edition, only do it for 1 year. It keeps the value of the truck up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so if you feel like you know the answer to the question we've just asked, post it in the comment section. We're going to be monitoring that, and we'll announce the winner next week as well as the answer. And we're going to take a few more comments, but before we do, I'm copying right now the link so that you can join us live for some show and tell. And I have a hard time talking and pasting at the same time. So my brain only has so much capacity, of course. But I've just posted that in the comment section. So if you're thinking about joining us live for some show and tell, we would love to have you on. This is the portion of the show where we do that. I'll pop the guidelines again. Just click the link with your cell phone. It'll take you into a waiting area. The guidelines are this. You have to have something vintage snowmobile related for show and tell. We like you to hold your camera horizontal for a wide shot. Keep it clean, of course, no nudity, profanity, etc. It's okay if you've got something for sale, but it must be vintage snowmobile related. And last but not least, keep it positive, of course, no bashing of people, businesses, etc. So that link is in the description. We're going to pop some more comments while we're waiting for someone to come on. And if they don't come on right away, we've got one more video we're going to play. But let's take a few more comments here. Dirk Siems says he jumped on in time to catch his video. Outstanding. Now, Dirk is the one that shared that video from Elk River, Minnesota. And he shared about 4 or 5 other videos with me. And I think he's got some other events he's possibly going to. And he's going to be taking some video. So it's nice to have him on here as a regular contributor. And this has been my goal all along. It's fun to share my own footage and everything. But I really like the idea of other people sharing footage from other parts of the country and other shows that I don't attend, and just as a way to kind of mix it up a bit, to hold a mirror up to the vintage snowmobile hobby so we can all see what people are doing. It's just a great way for us to all come on this podcast and see what's happening in the vintage snowmobile hobby. Now, Dirk has an answer to your question, Rob. As far as that raffle, he thinks it was $10 per ticket, which is not bad.
Wow, good deal.
Yeah, that's a sweet deal. I would have bought a handful of those. Yeah, for sure. Now, Alden Banks, one of the winners of last week's trivia, who's got a hat coming his way, says it sounded good on this end. I appreciate that feedback. That was when I was asking whether or not it was choppy. I'm glad that was just me. Keith Granby says, good evening from Motley, Minnesota, and good evening back to you as well. Brett Esseltine says, any video of the Fulton, New York Vintage Snowmobile Show, the Whiteout? I do not. My good friend Paul Crane was down there last weekend, as was Ed Stab. I don't know if Ed's one of the organizers of it or not, but they were both over there. I don't think either of them does video, but if anyone has video from that event, I would love to see it and share it here for all of us to enjoy. And likewise to anyone viewing this, any vintage snowmobile related events that you're going to, shows, races, anything like that, I would love to see some footage if you're able to take that. Just grab your cell phone, hold it horizontal like this for a wide shot, please, not vertical like this. It's very difficult to edit vertical footage. So horizontal like this, and just you can either walk around and get some footage of things that are going on, just kind of pan across the rows of sleds. If you feel bold enough to approach people to interview them, by all means do so. Whatever you're comfortable doing, I can work with in editing to edit things out and kind of put it into a presentable form. If you're just walking around taking footage, I can put some music under it, things like that. And of course, anyone who shares footage with me, as you've seen earlier, I give them full credit and a compliment and a big thank you for sharing that footage. So please keep that in mind, folks, as you're attending these shows. Please think about taking out your cell phones for some footage. We can share it on here for all of us to enjoy. Because I think that's why we're all here, is we love vintage snowmobiles, and it's great to see what's happening at all of these different shows. Some more comments. Bruce Hulls. I believe Bruce is the legendary racer. I think it's that Bruce Hulls from Humboldt, Saskatchewan. How you doing, Bruce? We'd love it if you can consider coming on here one night for some show and tell. If you've got a man cave with some sleds, trophies, stories, we would love to have you on. Please give that some thought. All you have to do is click the link with your cell phone, and you can be on here just like Rob is, and sharing stories. And if you've got things to show us, we can look at those as well. We'd love to see that. Dale Derricks, wondering what the snow conditions are in my area. It's funny you ask, because they were halfway decent, close to a foot of snow on the ground, but we've had a lot of rain today. I got almost to 50 degrees, and we're losing a lot of it. It's supposed to snow again tomorrow. But hopefully, where you're viewing, Dale, you have better snow conditions than we do. And anyone who's in the snow belt, I hope you're getting some good snow so you can enjoy your vintage snowmobiles, vintage or modern, whatever you're into. Most of us are into both. Billy Bob, from Massachusetts, says, loud and clear. Glad to have you on. I think you might be a new viewer, and I appreciate you coming on if that's the case. I hope you like this and decide to join us here each and every Thursday night. Steve Woodward, regular viewer from Rochester, New York. Thank you so much for coming on. Now, Dirk says the DL Vintage Snowmobile Rally and Swap. He's announcing an event coming up, I think. Polar Fest Saturday, this coming Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Little Detroit, Little Detroit Lake North. The public access is 121 West Lake Drive. Detroit, number 199, Detroit Lakes, Michigan. So yeah, if you guys are in that area, that's a show going on this weekend. By all means, check it out. Now we've got some answers coming in on the trivia questions. We're not going to confirm or deny as yet before I pop them on the screen, because I want to give everyone a fair chance. But I'm going to pop them on the screen, and we'll let you know next week if that was the correct answer, and announce the prizes. We'll be picking picking out of a hat the names of the winners, and they'll be winning some hats. So let's take a look. I think we've got consensus here. Like I said, we're not going to confirm or deny, but I don't think we have to. but yeah, we got to.
Maybe they can send us some pictures of some of them.
There we go. Yes, and we'll post them on here next week for the answer.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Not very often you see them at the vintage shows.
It's true. I've only seen one in person in my whole life. Yeah, but cool deal. And Dirk says possibly a Honda. Yeah, definitely. We've got some consensus here. This is wonderful having so many people interacting with us on this and offering comments, answers to these questions. This is wonderful. This is what I was hoping for with this segment that we're doing, Rob, is that we would have some good interaction and engagement with this. And we really appreciate it. And we're going to pick 2 winners. They're going to receive Amsoil hats. And like we've said earlier, if you're in need of Amsoil products, Rob is your guy. I'm going to pop his graphic on the screen here. I'm just going to, Richard Brazo says, thanks for letting me on the show last week. And that was wonderful, Richard, having you on. That was a great time. You've got a really nice collection there in your basement. And our good friend, Stephen Burdick. Let's see. He was at the Snowmobile Museum in New Hampshire. He's going this coming weekend on Saturday. They're honoring George and Betty Burdick, must be his parents. They were longtime museum supporters and vintage snowmobile enthusiasts, because I know Stephen has deep ties to that area and to the museum. That is wonderful news. I hope you have a great time there, Stephen. It's a bummer I can't make it. I've got a commitment this weekend, but try and have fun for me. And if you think of it, you or anyone you're with, please take out a cell phone and get a little footage, especially if they're doing a ceremony or anything to honor your parents. If anyone is able to get that on video, we'd love to share that here. Jeff Thomas. Jeff Thomas has one. Outstanding. And Jody Tice. Mrs.
You just give the answer away.
I know. At this point, is just yeah. I think at this point it's pretty clear.
Yep.
Now Jody Tice and her husband. I'm drawing a. Anyway, I met the 2 of them a few weeks ago at Coventry, Vermont, at a vintage snowmobile show, and I also saw them last year at Island Pond as well. They Mr. and Mrs. Pantera is what we call them, because they've got a matching set of Panteras that they drive to the shows, and they do a lot of trail riding on the Panteras. Kudos to them for sure. And we'd love to have them on the show if ever you guys want to come on. I know that I'd emailed your husband a couple of times. I hadn't heard anything, but I don't know if he's big on social media. I think you're the one more on social media than he is. But John Spranger Jr., yep, cool deal. Jim Smith, watching from Bend, Oregon. Now, Jim was our guest here last week, and he was showing us doing a lot of show and tell with us about his sleds and history, racing, and everything. And Dirk Siems says is from Minnesota. We've got even more. Wow, the comments are flooding in tonight, and we really appreciate it. And don't forget, folks, that I posted a link in the comment section. I'm going to post it again, because we're having a flood of comments and I don't want it to get buried. But if you'd like to come on here for some show and tell with your cell phone, if you're sitting in front of some vintage snowmobiles right now and like to share with us what you've got so we can all enjoy it, just click the link with your cell phone. It's very easy. It'll take you into a waiting area, and then we can bring you on like Rob is on right now, and you can show us some of your sleds and talk to us. Mark Sparandio, I think. Someone in the vintage groups recently sold a Ford prototype. Google search it. Very cool. We will have to do that. Yeah, thank you for the heads up on that. That must be Ford was doing a prototype of a snowmobile.
That's why I said there was 26,000 of them made, just in case somebody did do a prototype.
Yeah,
because I know Honda did some prototypes but never came out with a snowmobile.
Yes, yeah. And then Mark Gasso, did AMC make a snowmobile too? AMC, not that I've heard. For a second, I was thinking AMF, the Harley Davidson, but that's a whole other experience. AMC, I've not ever heard of that, but if anyone knows otherwise, please let us know. Mike McAlargy says Chrysler, absolutely. Here we go. Stephen Burdick says he'll get some video from the New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum show. Thank you so much, Stephen. We so much appreciate that, and I'm looking forward to seeing maybe a clip from that ceremony that you were talking about. That would be very, very cool. So what we're going to do while we're waiting for another bold soul to come on here to for some live show and tell, all you have to do if you're bold and wanted to share your vintage collection with us, click the link in the description with your cell phone. It'll bring you into a waiting area. We're going to view a video right now, but if you click the link, it'll keep you in a waiting area. You can view the video with us. We can tell that you're waiting, and once the video is over, we'll bring you on and we'll do some live show and tell. We'd love to see what you've got in your man cave or woman cave, as the case may be. We're looking at item number 7 right now. This is some footage from the Country Riders Vintage Snowmobile show in Newport Center a couple of weeks ago. These guys did a great show. It was a first-time show, and it was very well attended. It was well below 20, below 0 when we got there, Fahrenheit, but that didn't stop people from turning out or from having a good time. So it'll just take me a second here to queue up that video. And here it is. Let's take a look. It's taking a minute to load here. There we go. But we're at a Vintage Snowmobile show. Now we're in Newport Center, Vermont. This show is put on by the Country Riders Snowmobile Club. This is their first annual Vintage Snowmobile show and ride. They're also got a cookout. They've got a bunch of stuff going on over here with a bonfire and food and everything. But let's take a look at some of the sleds. People are still showing up, but let's take a look at what's here right now. Now these are Ray Parento's Rups. In fact, here's Ray right here. How you doing, Ray? We're live.
How's it going?
Good.
Cold.
It sure is.
Yeah. Actually, I was going to go get me some sunglasses. Man, the sun is bright.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk these up? Well, we got 35 people watching.
What I've got here is, this one is a 77 Rupp Nitro. That was like one of the final years that Rupp was in business.
Yeah.
I restored that sled, pretty much the whole thing. The other one is a 73 Magnum.
Yeah.
Basically a factory race sled, 3-year Tohatsu engine. And mostly an original sled. Well, when I say that, I bought and replaced all the panels. I got those all through Bill Stull.
Yeah.
But tunnel, track, skis, original skis, engine. It's original seat. I did add that tunnel decal to it.
Yeah.
But it's a good conversation piece, and it's loud as hell, and it's kind of eye candy.
Yeah, it's got a great exhaust note.
Yeah. The other sled is a 76 Magnum.
Yeah.
And it got a little bit of a custom paint job to the hood. But that was also another sled that I restored. It is the original hood. Lower panels were replaced. When I got it, the suspension was in fair condition. I worked on a lot on the bottom end, and I completely rebuilt the motor.
Yeah.
And that one actually, it's kind of fun to drive. Actually, I don't
Handles
really go anywhere. Well, it's short and it's stiff.
Sure.
And it seems like it wants to pull a wheelie most of the time when you're riding it.
Nice.
But it is kind of flashy and whatnot.
Yeah, let's move in a little closer to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, by all means, yeah, keep talking, by all means, yeah.
So, anyway, when I got into this hobby of these Rups, this thing is like the one that I wanted the most, and I was lucky enough to acquire one.
Yeah.
And so here it is. And I enjoy looking at the thing.
Oh, it's eye candy for sure. I'm going to get up close to the details here.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I've been very fortunate. I've been able to meet a lot of, well, I say meet, I haven't actually met. I got people like Bill Stull.
Yeah.
He's a great resource. I can
Yeah.
call him up or I message him and he'll give me, well, you got to do this, and this is the way it originally was. no, you can't get these parts, or yes, you can.
Sure.
And he's a great resource for that. I mean, I'll say I'll have a question, I'll just send him a message, and he basically will reply right back.
Nice. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he is a good egg. And also, I've been able to get a lot of my engine parts from another company out in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Kevin Hayes, the gentleman's name. He owns a company called Pipestone, and he is basically a rep guy, and he is also a good resource for parts and you know, you call him up. I called him yesterday. One of the sleds that I wanted to bring here, I didn't bring it. It's another restoration, kind of a creation I made.
Sure.
And it's cool as hell to look at the thing, but I just didn't trust myself bringing it. I'm having a cooling problem with the engine, and everything's new in it, and I don't know if it's airbound or what, but so anyway, I called him yesterday, and that's the fun part about this hobby is there's a lot of guys that are into it, and you just got to be able to find them.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
and most of them are very willing to share information and resources. And
yeah. I mean,
it's a really nice community, good people.
Yeah, there's no animosity anywhere. There's none of this. Well, I'm not. You know, no. Most of these guys are really willing to help you out, and the guy you want to talk to is that guy right there. His father was a John Deere dealer at one time.
Nice. Now, this gentleman on the left or on the right?
On the right.
Okay, yeah. And he's got this liquefier?
Yeah, he just acquired that, and he got it running, cleaned it up a little bit, and I didn't realize it. He was telling me his dad was a John Deere dealer back in the day, and so we're friends. So I got him talked into getting into this game. So
let's see if we can get him in over here. How you doing? Good. You're live right now on Facebook with over 30 people watching.
Oh, okay.
And the rumor going around, you're a John Deere guy.
Oh yeah.
The word on the street.
Oh, yeah. Well, back in the '70s, my father sold them.
Nice.
We always had John Deeres.
Nice.
And I remember when I was a kid, and back in '78, we were down at Evinrude there, and see one of them in the showroom, and like, wow. And of course, back then it was just wishful thinking. And yeah, like Raymond said, they're talking with him this summer, and I started looking around, and yeah, found this one down. Old guy in Batavia, New York, Leo.
Yeah.
Bought it from him. They've been parked for 30 years.
Here comes another one.
And I found this one in New Hampshire for my son.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like going a little closer and talking it up? Tell us some of the details on it, or?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't want to steal the show from Raymond.
No.
It's all yours. No, it's been parked in a Leo had told me that he was dragging his kids around with it. They just quit firing, and he parked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been parked for 30 years in a barn. And
so it's what, like a 77?
78.
78, yeah.
Yeah, and they made less than 2,000 of them.
Wow.
They're basically a one-year sled. Because after this year, they went to Kawasaki engines, and with the radiator and the scoop on the side, like I said, it was a one-year sled.
Yeah. I'm going to walk around it a little bit.
Yeah.
And you live right here in the area?
Yeah, this is my lane. Yeah.
Oh, this is your lane. Oh, I saw you earlier when I came in. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Nice. Now, where was your father's dealership?
Right here.
Oh, right here?
Right here, yeah.
No kidding. Wow, so we're on the site of an old John Deere dealership. Wow, that's nice. That's a nice shape, too.
Yeah. Like I said, I found this one.
This is yours, too?
Yeah, I bought it for my son there for Christmas.
Yeah.
That one comes from Hillsborough, New Hampshire there.
Yeah.
That one. And it had been sitting outdoors there for quite a few years. So
yeah.
It's not, I mean, mileage-wise, I think it's got less miles than this one. But
yeah, let's take a closer look.
It runs really good.
Nice.
This summer, we like to fix her up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's in really nice shape. And this is your Tundra too?
My son's girlfriend.
Nice, yeah. And that's a more modern one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
How old is that thing?
I think it's like an 01.
Oh, 01, yeah. Nice. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, we're here in Newport Center, Vermont at the Country Riders Vintage Snowmobile event. And people are still coming in. We got trail riders going by, stopping by to check out the action. And I think it's going to be a fun day. We're meeting a lot of friends here, making new friends and seeing old friends. Ray over there. Yeah. You guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Cool. You having a good time?
Great time.
Good. Keeping warm?
Yeah.
Good.
It was 26 below here this morning.
Unreal, huh?
Yeah.
$26 below at that event.
Yeah, it was cold.
Oh,
but it started to warm up to probably almost 15 below once the sun came up, you know.
Well,
but it
2
was
weeks
cold.
time, Mike, I'm supposed to head to Cochrane, Ontario March 12th to 13th for the Polar Bear Snowmobile Vintage Race.
Yeah.
Now, Cochrane, Ontario is almost 10 hours north of Toronto. And right now they're getting rain. So if it has to get colder up there, but I've been up there when it's been 40 below. But it's a really neat event because the whole town participates and they have a vintage parade through town. So everybody brings out their vintage machines and there's 200 machines driving through town.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And they have their own little museum right beside there. And right beside the track is also a polar bear rescue place.
Yeah.
So they let us go in there and see the polar bears and all that. But
nice.
You don't get too close because they like humans.
Yeah. You don't want to be lunch.
There's a posting of the event. Where is it? Right there. Oh,
yeah.
How do I do that?
Nice.
Yeah. It's on the Ontario Snowmobile Racing Association.
Nice. So that's March 12th, you said.
But it's Cochrane, Ontario. But it's really a family event. What a neat race it is because the whole town gets involved.
Nice.
The town doubles in size that one weekend.
The town-wide event. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Good deal. And I'm sure it's a tradition for everyone in the town to be a part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's their winter fair.
That's cool. That's cool.
Like at nighttime when the races aren't going on, all the kids are down on the track skating.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. So we can get some, if we do go up, we'll get some video of it and send it down to you.
Yeah. That was my next thing I was going to ask you is if you or anyone you're with is able to get some video footage, just be sure and hold your camera horizontal for a wide shot.
Yep.
That would be amazing.
A lot of times we spend most of the night trying to fix the machines. Yeah. that's what's wrong with vintage racing.
True. There's a lot of repair involved. Absolutely.
Well, you got to make whatever you break.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's old equipment. But yeah, the other thing I was going to mention is that video we were just looking at, that first gentleman with the Rups, Ray Parento. He lives just maybe 10 or 15 minutes from here. And he's always a sport at these shows, or I've been to his house to videotape some of his sleds. That was only a fraction of his collection. He's got some amazing Rups, some other sleds too. But anytime we cross paths, he's always ready to talk up his sleds.
Well, that's nice. They come out in their uniform and everything, like the original Rupp outfit on too.
Totally, yeah. And he loves talking them up, and he does a great job talking them up. And then the other guy that we met, Robert Tatro, the show was on his property, and he had those John Deeres. I just met him for the first time that day, and as we got talking later, turns out his wife is a good friend of my girlfriend. So it's a small world.
It is.
Yeah. And it was neat to find out that the site that we're on for that show was the site of an old John Deere dealership.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that made it kind of special. Yeah, that was cool.
Yep.
Cool deal. So I don't know. I don't think we've got anyone stepping up this week to do some live show and tell with us, which is okay. It happens sometimes, and we are running out of time, but we're going to take a few last comments. Pat Lima, Southeast Missouri, thank you for coming on. So much appreciated. James Spranger. Now, James got caught in the same trap that I did. At first, I thought it was AMF, but I think AMF was the Skedaddler. AMC was American Motor Company that made the cars. Because I got caught up in that too. But it's AMF and AMC were two totally different organizations. But and then Kirk Fellbaum says, "Great job, guys. Cool deal. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate you being on, and we appreciate the compliment." But yeah, it's come to that time where it's time to wrap up the show. Before I do, though, I want to give you one more shameless plug, Rob, because you've been so kind providing the trivia questions as well as the prizes and the decals. We really appreciate it. So if anyone viewing this is in need of AMSOIL products, Rob the Oil Guy is your oil guy. His phone number and his email address are there on the screen. Plus, there's a link in the description that'll take you to his website if you need to order anything. He's your man. And yeah, thank you so much, Rob. We really, really appreciate you coming on here and bringing trivia questions every week and having prizes for people. That's just amazing. We really appreciate it.
Well, we enjoy the show, and it's a great show.
Good deal.
We'll look forward to next week.
Absolutely. And as always, we give the last word to our friends at Mad Ramps. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the other side.
It's the ultimate combination of simplicity and ingenuity. The newest way to load, unload, and transport your ATV or UTV. The Mad Ramps Pivoting Ramp System. Made in the USA and engineered for strength and durability. Maneuver through tight places and over rugged terrain with plenty of ground clearance. No licensing, no ongoing maintenance costs, and no storage hassles like trailers. Won't slip or move like conventional ramps. Free up more cargo space in the bed of your truck. Securely connects to your truck's receiver hitch. Easily extends for safe loading and unloading. Seamlessly retracts for highway and off-road travel. DOT approved in all 50 states and Canada. Quickly disconnects in under a minute. A unique space-saving storage system. The Mad Ramps Pivoting Ramp System. Go farther. Go faster. Go safer.
When you order using the link in the description, I'll send you 3 free Vintage Snowmobile DVDs. When you order using the link in the description, I'll send you 3 free Vintage Snowmobile DVDs.